Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery podcast with Jersey Ed. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, guys. Along with my two co-hosts, well, only one co-host today, Super Beth. And our guest today is Nikoletta from Milestone House. We'll get more talking to her in a bit about that. But yeah, there she is. Nikoletta has been on this show also in the past. But before we get into any of that, guys, I want to just talk something serious here real quick. You've obviously noticed that somebody isn't here, and she hasn't been here back and forth a couple of shows, and Bambi isn't here, but unfortunately, her brother passed last night, and she's not able to be here with us today. But she wanted to say, just to tell everybody, she said hello, and she did answer the question of the week. So
yes, she did
have an answer for the question of the week for Bambi. But yeah, we want to just our prayers and our heart goes out to Bambi and Matt and Chuck's wife, and Chuck was his name. So if you guys are out there listening, keep Bambi's family in your prayers, please. Thanks. All right. That's about as serious as we're going to get from this point on.
That's the serious portion of today's show.
That is it. Yeah. That is it. I just want to let you ladies know it is Courage Month today. This is still Courage Month, and again, another courageous guest coming on to talk to me and Beth.
So excited. This is my favorite guest of all time.
I know. I love Nikoletta too, but we'll get more into that. What did you say about the book club, Beth? You said something?
I did?
Yeah. What did you say about the book club, Beth?
The book club? The big book club? I'm so confused. Oh.
Anyways, so we have a book study going on. It is Sermon on the Mount.
We do?
Wow. We do every Monday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. So if
Nikoletta is not surprised that I don't know what's going on.
So if you want to join our book study with Sermon on the Mount, 8:15.
Such a great book.
It is. Join us. Just you have to come on to Friends in Recovery communities, and all the information's on there. If you want any more information on that, you can email us, or you can call us at 800-989-6504, or email us at help@friendsandrecoverypodcast.com. You can go to the website, but it's probably not up there because I don't know what I'm doing with the website, and Carl's too busy. So whatever's up there, just go check it out on friendsandrecoverycommunity.org. One day it'll be fixed and all ready to go. You can also email Beth and myself and Bambi, as you see it below right there, and shoot Bambi an email and say hello to her or see how she's doing.
Send her some purple hearts.
Give her some purple hearts. Absolutely. So
you'll never hear me say that again, but
no, we'll never say that again.
Give all the purple hearts.
That's right. She gets all purple hearts anyway, so you don't even have to say it. We do need an intern, for sure. We need somebody when Bambi's out to keep us in line, because Beth and I are just like 2-year-old children in a Zoom room.
I'm here to vouch for that.
Yes.
It's like organized chaos.
It is. We know what we're doing, kind of, maybe, sort of. I don't know. But yeah. We just got this organized chaos here. The perfect analogy for it. But we just run around like two kids. And I got to tell you this story, Nikoletta, all right, before we go any further. So Bambi this morning, she still sends out text messages. She's still doing her thing. She sends out a text message. Don't forget, or maybe it was yesterday. Don't forget Nikoletta, 2 p.m. I'm like, all right. So I called Beth at like 1:30 because I'm running late, because we usually get on the show a little bit early, doesn't pick up, right? Then the next thing is 4:00, right? I'm like, what? 4:00? I'm like, no, 2:00.
Yeah. And I'm like, WTF, it's on my calendar for 4:00.
Well, Bambi and I spoke this morning. I reached
did
out
you?
to her. I said, Bambi, 2 p.m. today, right? Can you send me the ID and the Zoom? Because I got no emails. So she sent it to me via text.
There you go.
That's how
So
I'm
good.
here.
She
So
is
Bambi,
So good.
Bambi is still very much a part of this thing. I didn't even know that she
is.
wasn't going to be here today or that she's
Yeah.
going through grief.
And Nikoletta has known me for 16 years. She knew not to text me
Oh, yeah.
for the information on
Of
how to
course.
get online.
And
Yeah.
she didn't text, and obviously she didn't text me either. So
She knows.
she knows us.
Nikoletta knows.
Bambi is my contact.
Yes. Bambi is everybody's contact. I
Yes.
don't know why our email is even on there. The only
That's
person
right.
that's going to respond is Bambi.
That's right. Exactly. and yeah, just whatever. Yeah, if we didn't have Bambi, this show wouldn't exist. If you think about it, she even texted me this morning. I'm not going to make the show because, the situation, what happened. She goes, but I'm going to listen to it, send all the show notes out, get it over to Carl in the normal time. I'm thinking to myself, thank God we have this woman. Like,
When she goes back to work, we're fucked.
oh, yeah. No, she's not going back to work. I've got a plan for that. It's a crowbar in the knee, so she can't go back to work.
He's gonna,
She's going to be
can't seem to run the
she's gonna
show,
be-
but he can figure out how to shut transportation down between Ohio and Florida.
That's right. Exactly.
He's gonna make her Peg Leg Bambi.
That's right. Bambi's got going anyway.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Guys, I tripled her salary 2 weeks ago. Why would you leave? Tripled. You know how much she makes?
0.
0. That's what she makes. And I
I
tripled.
will quadruple her freaking salary.
You added 3 more zeros to the zero.
I did. Absolutely. I added 3 more zeros to it. So, all right, guys. So stay tuned for some, I guess, a show. I think that's what we're doing here. Look for us on our social media, Friends in Recovery communities. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and give us a 5-star review. And set the timer button. What does she say? Set the thingy button, the reminder button.
The subscribe.
Yeah, reminder though.
Oh yeah, and hit the alerts.
Yeah,
So
alerts.
that you know when crazy people are online.
That's right.
We're busy.
I mean, really, do we know what we're doing? I mean, I've been
Nope.
doing this podcast for 5 years, and Bambi just like
I don't even really consider myself doing a podcast. I just show up and say stuff out loud. That's all I do.
say stuff out loud.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
I know. Well, you do a pretty good job of not knowing what you're saying. So
Thanks. I gotta be good at something.
yeah, see there you go. So just don't forget that. Here we go with the hearts, guys. Purple hearts for Bambi. The give, like Beth said, give all the purple hearts of Bambi. Beth, of course, is black hearts. Look, I changed it on here, Beth. I did something.
Aw,
So
thank
we can't
you.
see it, but I changed it. I didn't even scribble it out. I actually went into my computer, changed
wow,
orange to black.
That's
impressive. Swear I did. So I don't need a fucking intern.
Orange is
Bullshit.
the new black.
Orange is the new black. Yes, exactly.
oh Jesus.
And of course, Jersey gets his blue hearts, and if you guys feel fit, that I deserve them. And Nikoletta, let's give her some red hearts when you guys get the show. Give her some red hearts.
Give Nikoletta all the red hearts. She's so beautiful.
She is.
I love
She
her.
is. She is.
Okay.
She's
Guys,
like, I can't take it anymore.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
I told you you're going to leave, and it's Courage Month. To have the courage just to stay a little bit
Courage to
longer.
Stay.
A little bit longer. Have the courage to stay with us. All
We
right.
dare you.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to thank everybody who donated to make this show possible. And don't forget, Friends in Recovery podcast is part of the Fire Network. For more information, go to our website, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. All the information for the Fire Network is on there. If you have a podcast or you do something creative, we want you on our website. So send us an email and we will give you more information about it. Sober shout outs, ladies. Anybody have sober shout outs? Nikoletta, we'll go with you first.
Sober shout out. I mean, the only one I think of really is my sponsor, Lena. She's in Hawaii. She's going to have 23 years sober on Monday.
All right.
God.
In 2000, on April 20, I think it was April 24th, 2000. It was actually Easter Sunday. And she's Russian, so she's Christian Orthodox. And the Christian Orthodox Easter, that particular year, came on the same Sunday.
Wow.
And she was at a meeting, and somebody said to her that to believe in miracles, because they believe in miracles on this day. And she never drank again since then. So she's going to have 23 years on Monday, and I'm very excited.
All right.
About her.
And what's her name?
Her name is Lena.
Lena.
Lena. Lena.
Lena. Congratulations, Lena, on 23 years. Beth, do you have any sober shout outs?
I did. Now I forgot. I had a really good one too.
Well, we can circle back
They'll
around.
come back.
Go back around.
Or you can blurt it out anytime in the show.
That's
just
probably
like
gonna
you
happen.
normally what you do.
Yep.
I have a couple shout outs. Of course, the standard Soberpod. Everybody go listen to Soberpod over there. Make sure that you guys listen to Carl and Chelsea over there. We love them. Carl's a big part of this community. I mean, he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. You don't know it, but Carl's an amazing man. And please give Soberpod some love. I also want to congratulate Bob celebrating his I don't know how many years he said he had. I forgot. But Bob M, who's always on this show, who's always been supportive of us, and also who was a big inspiration on the book study from the Sermon on the Mount. So congratulations, Bob, on your, I don't know how many years. I'm hoping he puts it into the chat so I can say that many years, but he's not putting it up. So and I think that's it. I don't know. I don't have any other sober shout outs. So all right, that's it. Let's see what time it is, Beth.
Question of the week.
Question
of the week. It's what time it is.
Hey,
All
what
right,
time it is.
guys. That's it. That's the only thing she knows on this show. That's it. That's all she knows is when we have to say question of the week after the explosion happens before all this. So, so the question of the week, guys. Nikoletta, you still got courage to stay around?
Yes.
All right, good. Question of the week is: when you leave your house, what two things do you take with you? So when you leave your house to go wherever you're going, and it doesn't have to be in your car. Maybe you're going for a walk, whatever it is. What are the two things that you take with you? Real quick, Bob celebrated 9 years last week. So congratulations, Bob.
Congratulations, Bob.
Congrats.
Yep. So, all right. So when you leave the house, what two things do you take with you? Let's let our guest Nikoletta go because we still have her here. So we might as well get some use out of her until she takes off.
Well, I mean, practically, I never leave the house without a phone and keys. But if I want to sound really wise, I would say like some courage. I try not to leave the house.
There you go.
You're going to leave the house. You're going to face life. You're going to face uncertainty. You're going to face all the things you feel powerless over.
Yeah, I like that.
You need some courage, some determination, some hope, some showing up, right? So like, I guess this is, we bring ourselves out wherever we go, and all of the experiences and all of our wisdom and all of our own internal support systems that we need to meet the day or to meet the challenges of the day and stuff like that. I guess in the context of what we're talking about in the Courage Month, this is what comes up.
Beth,
right?
She's just showing us how shallow you and I are.
Immature we are? Yeah.
Immature. Of course, keys and phone, right? I mean, come on.
I was like bagging keys and now I'm reconsidering my life choices.
I know, I'm like, what?
Huh?
I'm like, oh my God, that woman's so smart. I mean, that's crazy. Get her off this show. She's making us look bad.
Okay, bye.
No, I love that. Courage. Well, what was your second thing? I'm sorry. Was there a second?
No, I didn't. That nothing else came up.
Okay.
I mean, just like
Show courage
yourself.
in your phone.
Yourself, my higher power. So to
Higher
speak.
power.
That,
Okay.
that thing that I talk to every morning before I leave, that this like sense of something other than me,
Yeah.
that I speak to every morning before I leave the house, like that comes with me, like that,
Yeah, that's
Love
great.
it.
I love it. I love it. Two things that we should be armed with when we leave the house is courage and a higher power. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just so, I love it. Thank you, Nicola. I know I'm
Mhm.
walking around a little bit, but that is just, it's definitely something that we should not leave home without, put that in next to your American Express card.
Only for dinners.
How about you, Beth? What do you want to be just so shallow and just say keys and phone?
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna go with my bag and my phone.
Okay. All right.
But I mean, now I feel so shallow. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna be really original and say courage and God.
Courage and God. That's original.
Thank you. I thought of that just now.
I love it. I love it. Carl, edit out all of Nikoletta's
Everything
stuff.
before that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
we
God,
can
I love
look
you guys.
original. And I'm going to say courage and God too. So there you go. Wow. Oh my
That's
God. We are so smart.
You guys are the most supportive team.
Hell yeah.
That's right. That's right. What I was going to say, and again, I love those answers, but what I was going to say is the water bottle, which I always leave, I never leave out, and a phone, of course. I mean,
It's
I don't
'cause you're
think
always
anybody
running.
leaves without a phone anymore. So,
Right.
but Beth, I thought you were going to go into like this whole thing, like how Nikoletta explained courage and her higher power. I thought my bag is brown and has a handle on it. And my phone, it's an iPhone, and I thought you were going to go into explain all that.
I usually would, but I'm batshit crazy with this stupid cast. So
I will give you a break. We'll give
thanks,
you a break.
man.
All right, guys. So that's all the fucking around we're going to do today on that stuff. We're going to bring in a real guest now, Nikoletta. She's going to talk.
Okay.
She's going to talk about recovery. Nikoletta, thank you for coming on the show. Nikoletta is part of the Milestone House kind of operation over there in Dover, New Jersey. I've known Nikoletta probably, I don't know what, 25 years, maybe?
16.
16. Okay. So I know Mike. How are Mike?
Mike.
Yeah, I know
Over
Mike
20
longer.
years.
Yeah. Okay. 20 some years. All right. So 16 years. I know Nikoletta as long as you've been working at the Milestone House.
Yeah.
I got to tell you guys, every time I walk into the Milestone House and, just go see everybody, Nikoletta's in there. She takes her time. She sits with me, asks me how I'm doing, what's going on, because I do work for a treatment center, and she's very, very interested, very caring and loving. And that was, I love coming in to see you guys all the time. So, Nikoletta, you've got such good recovery. I know you've been on this show before, and we did talk about halfway houses and all that, but I think on this show, we really should just focus on you and how you got your recovery and this great courage and higher power and that thinking of like, maybe that can kind of rub off on me and Beth. So.
Oh, you guys, I look up to both of you, especially Beth. She's been one of my idols my whole recovery. She's one of the important parts of my story. So you want to talk about me? Great.
We do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, that's awesome because I am an alcoholic. Now,
show's over, guys.
So 16, I've been here 16 years. Why do I know this? Because on April 15 was my anniversary of working at the Milestone House.
Okay.
And I feel really blessed. I take a look at that and I'm like, wow, 16 years. I've been sitting here for 16 years. I've been exposed to so many lives. I've been exposed to, there's time takes time. And it's not so much about the 16 years, whether I'm 16 years sober or 16 years working in a sober house, but that in 16 years, you see a lot, you hear a lot, so you gain a lot, I think, as a result of that. I mean, this is what they call experience, really. But anyways, I got sober. I got struck sober in New York City when I was 27 years old. I went to treatment for 4 months and I needed to rebuild my life. And I asked for a sober house and I ended up at the Milestone House. I moved in here in January of 2007. I had 4.5 months sober, and I was incredibly lucky that at that time, this sober house, which there was only one sober house.
Yes.
And I was very lucky that my current sponsor, Lena, that I gave a shout out to, was doing a meditation workshop here.
Wow.
So 2 days after I landed in this sober house in this unknown state of New Jersey, unknown county of Morris County, unknown town of Dover, where I didn't even know where I was, within 2 days I had a sponsor that was willing to walk the journey with me. And I think I'm incredibly lucky. I find myself to be incredibly lucky. I have been given and provided and like generously. Everything was done for me. The only thing that I can account that for is that there's been one sort of a surrender, right? And a sort of a trust of everything that came my way for whatever reason, you know? And yeah, go ahead, Dad.
No, I was going to say, what last month and the month before was sponsor month, and I just love getting people's that kind of like take on sponsors. Like, what does a sponsor mean to you, and why is it so important? I mean, I know why, I know why, but why do you? I mean, and have you grown with your sponsor, or is it with the whole program? Is kind of what is a sponsor to you?
She was the door to the program. She was the first tangible thing.
Okay.
I can trust her. I couldn't trust the program. I could trust her. I couldn't trust all of the people that I saw in the rooms.
Okay.
That was too overwhelming. That was too much. That was too foreign. I had no reference point. But she embodied and carried a certain energy that was incredibly attractive. So she was attractive to me, even when the program wasn't. Her respect and admiration of the big book was attractive to me, even though I didn't understand or admire the big book yet, or whatever basic text or whatever 12-step fellowship we're in. Her ability the way she lived her life was an example of freedom. And I was attracted to that freedom. There was a freedom in her eyes. There was an ability to meet life with incredible amount of courage. She wasn't hiding from life. And I was, I came into the rooms, and the only thing I knew is how to hide and manipulate and try to manage the unmanageable and control the uncontrollable. And like, it was overwhelming. Life and living life was overwhelming. I didn't really know who I was, and I didn't know what I was. And I met a woman that knew who she was and what she was. And that was attractive to me, and not on an intellectual level, right? It's just there's this like moment of grace, right? You just you're attracted and you don't know why, right?
Exactly.
There's something in the gut feeling that just wants to follow.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. That's my sponsor, hands down. My sponsor's been with me. I've been with him, or however you want to say, for probably 25 years now. We've been together, and I get that. So let's go back to the second day at Milestone House when you're doing this meditation and this woman walks in, because I think this is fascinating. And I love that answer you gave, because a lot of people are like, oh, I have to like the program. Well, I think this is a great not excuse, a great kind of, like a thing to do besides, like saying, I hate the program. I like my sponsor. I like this person. I like what this person has to offer. I don't have to like the program. So what attracted you to her, and how did you talk to her? How did you say, hey, I want you to be my sponsor? Because that's hard. That for anybody who's listening, who doesn't have a sponsor, and everybody's saying get one, I guarantee you 95% of these people are afraid to ask somebody. I guarantee you 95% of these people that don't have a sponsor, it's new in the program, have a sponsor picked out, but they're afraid to ask. And I know I can tell you that hands down. You got a sponsor in 2 days. It probably took me 2 months to get a sponsor because I was shit scared. So,
well, I wasn't planning to ask her, but Mike, the owner of the Milestone, when I came into this sober house, and it was this sober house, he heard my accent, and my sponsor has an accent. She said, oh my God, I have a perfect woman for you. They come here every Wednesday. She comes here every Wednesday. She's doing a meditation workshop. I'm going to introduce you. She can be your sponsor. So I just kind of, like heard that in the back of my head. And then I show up, and she's in front of me. And somebody introduces us, and they introduce me in a way that a newcomer gets introduced. This is Nikoletta, first day here. She just got here. She doesn't know anyone. And she said, oh, great. We're doing a 12-step workshop starting on Thursday nearby. Make sure you get
Nice.
there.
Wow.
Make sure you get there. So it wasn't a traditional, will you be my sponsor?
Okay.
But at some point, because I'm full of insecurity and uncertainty and total conflict and a ton of mental noise, especially as a newcomer, I said to myself, oh my God, I didn't ask her to sponsor me. Maybe she's not sponsoring me. Maybe she's not my sponsor. So the next time I spoke to her on the phone after I went to that workshop, I said, will you help me? Are you helping me? And she smiled and she said, yes, I'm helping you. I'm going to help you.
So that was the way you asked her for be a sponsor.
That was the way. And but I
so
think
sweet.
I think that's these logistics are not so important as much as the fact that I was dying and I didn't trust myself. And she saw that in my eyes. I was willing. It didn't really matter. I didn't know what I was doing, but she registered an energy that was present in me at the time. And the energy that was present, not because I made it present, it just was present, was desperation. Desperation and willingness.
Desperation and willingness. I love that. Desperation
because she
and
said
willingness.
She said she saw fear in my eyes. She said she saw humility and fear in my eyes. I didn't know what I was doing. No. I didn't know what AA was. I didn't know what a sponsor was. I didn't know what 12 steps were. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't know how to show up. I didn't know how to be honest. I didn't know how to express myself. None of this. So it was a combination of her wisdom and grace, my desperation and willingness, and something does for us. We don't talk enough about the unseen. It's like, how do you explain to someone the formula, just show up? We want to know the details of just showing up. Well, I have to have a script and I got to look them in the eye and I got to say these words. No, you don't. Just show up. What's the intent? What's the intent? What's the most operative thing below the neck?
Well, and, you know, the situations we were in when we got into, before we get into recovery and in new recovery, what else? I mean, asking somebody to be a sponsor, asking somebody to, you know, kind of guide you through life. You know, my drug dealer was guiding me through life. My bartender was guiding me through life. You know? I mean, seriously, but asking a sponsor, and I can see that that's an amazing. So the courage that you had day two, not month two, not like, hey, do you think he'll be my sponsor? Which I say to him, that might be my sponsor. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, it's part of the program. Absolutely. Right. There's people out there doing it every day, but the courage to do that the second day, you know, it doesn't surprise me because I know your recovery. I know who you are as a person. I know that, you know, that when I grow up, I want to be just like you. You know, seriously, I really do.
Same. Me and Ed are going to grow up someday. Really.
We will. Once mom comes back home.
Once mom gets back.
We have to be nice then. It's going to suck when mom comes home. But you know, the courage that it takes to do that and you know, where did that come from? Like, why would you even ask somebody? I mean, were you so afraid to go back 2 days ago or 4 months ago that, you know, you're, you know?
Yeah. I mean, where does that come from? It comes out from, you know, you run out of options. You just, there's nowhere else to go. There's like nowhere else to go. I wouldn't even give myself the credit of courage. I don't know that I knew courage at 4 months. I don't know that it was intentional courage. I think it was just enough courage that was given to me, a mustard seed that was born out of, I want to live. It's, I want to live. It doesn't matter that I don't know how, but I want to live, and everybody else is getting sponsors, and everybody else is saying you should do this, and everybody else is saying that this is the next step, and you just kind of like show up, or you just kind of go in that direction. And the more that I think, looking back, and even today in my life, the more I just show up in that direction, the more I'm provided by life support.
I
love that you said courage to live. Like, I don't think that is something that happens when we get here or just when we get here. It continues, and it doesn't matter what stage of life or recovery or time in recovery that we have, it's continuing to be right. So my experience is that when I am connected to a power greater than myself, I receive courage. That is courage, right?
Mhm.
And for me, the definition of courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. The doing it anyway is the courage, and that comes from a power greater than myself. So Nikoletta, a question for you is, how do you stay tethered in the program? How do you stay tethered to God? Like, what does that process look like for you?
Oh boy.
You're the smart one, not us.
She is a grown-up. How? I mean,
Bambi wrote that question for her.
The desire to continue to live is present. The want to live is present. The desire to continue to live is present. I want to live. I'm curious about life. I'm curious about myself. I'm curious about God. I'm curious about deepening the connection, deepening it, right? And so, I mean, obviously, I've been taught some tools in the program, prayer, meditation, and reflection being the most appropriate tools that I've been taught as a result of the 12 steps. And so how I continue the dialogue with the depth of my own being. I continue the dialogue with my higher power. I continue the practice of awareness or staying in the present or being mindful or not buying the stories that my mind sells me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do, having people in my life to let me know that they're stories.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's, the sisterhood and the women in my life, Beth, you being one of them, and connection to others, and a desire to go deeper. I want to go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intense.
Mm.
Yeah.
I want more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm
intense. That I agree.
I want more. And one of my AirPods just died.
And that's okay. Well, you got
so
the other
we're
one.
Operating on one AirPod.
That's right. And we only have.
Put it in the box. Let it charge.
I'm just giving you a warning.
That's it. I like what Beth. I like what you asked. There's questions that you asked. You courage to live, right? But right before she said courage to live, she said, "I'm running out of options." Like.
Yeah.
That to me is so profound. I'm running out of options, but I still have the courage to live. Why? Because of the program, because of your sponsor. I mean, when I run out of options, you might as well just throw me off a cliff.
Yep. I might as well just die. Dying is always the last option.
Yeah, exactly.
So what keeps you I think you're bringing up a really, really good point, Ad, is that there's so many of us in the program that lose every single option.
Mm-hmm.
Drunk or sober. And dude, some people with 10, 20 years sober, it's like, what keeps you with that curiosity to keep digging? What gets you to a place where dying is not an option?
Mm-hmm.
That was a question for you, Nikoletta.
Oh, that was a question for me?
Yes. And don't ask Beth to repeat it because she has no idea what
no fucking clue what I just said.
See, I just, like when you ask me that, I want to tear up. Because I've been in a place where I wanted to die. And I don't know, but I think it's a gift to want to live.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily a gift I've given myself. It's present. And I don't know where from.
You think it's from God?
I mean, yes.
As she looks up in the sky.
I think it's like this grace
for a second, though, which I appreciate.
Grace. I think it's this grace. I think it's like that. Like something's not done with me. Like something's not done with me, or I'm not done. I might think I'm done. I don't want to give up. I don't want to do this anymore. But life's not done with me. God's not done with me. There's some karmic load that still needs to be experienced. There's some connections that still need to be felt. There's a lesson that I haven't learned as a result, that I haven't walked through this journey yet, or this lesson, or whatever it is. So there's more. I don't know where that longing, yearning, fire, flame, desire to live, but I see life as incredibly precious.
Well, guys, we can even look at the courage to live being what we're talking about here. Yep. Some people may not understand that, because I know my only option was death. Before I got into recovery, before I thought, but also when when I came into recovery or the last couple of years of my drinking, there was no life left in me. I was dead anyways. There was zero life left in me. Right. So that's even harder. Like, you know, the suicide option, you're done. There's nothing else. You're done. Right. If you stay and you want the courage to live, coming back from the dead, right, to live again, maybe just get baseline, like become like a human being and then go up from there. That's fucking hard.
Yeah, but you know what? You bring up something that like I've been trying to figure out, like, how does this work into this conversation? But it's about grace. Nikoletta said grace, right? And you're talking about being below subpar of willing to live, right? In clinical terms, it's suicidal ideation on a regular basis. Yeah. And when we come up and out of that, that's grace. We can't bring ourselves, right? And it even talks about it in the big book and how we're beyond human aid, right? No one could get us up to the bar of, you know, here's me, I live here and wanting to kill myself all the time or wanting to at least die all the time, to getting here where it's like, okay, at least I don't want to die. And to me, that's grace. And I think this may be the crux of the relapse problem, which is you get the grace of no longer being suicidal. And do you accept that grace? Or do you say, I don't deserve it anyway? And so my definition of grace is to be given a gift without having done anything to receive it. So God gives us grace, right? Grace and then all of a sudden we don't want to die. And we can either choose to let that grace in, or we can reject it and continue down that same path. And that's where, and then, you know, you talk about the Bible, you talk about self-will, you talk about like all of these things all collide right there. Right. So it's like the alcoholic inside the bubble receives grace, which is the willing to live.
Well, do you think at that point it becomes a spiritual awakening if you take that grace and run with it?
If you take that grace, if you accept, right? Because you can't even take it because it's given. So if you accept that grace, you then have the opportunity to run with it. And what are you going to do with it? And I think that's when sponsorship comes in, and that's when your mode of recovery in, or going back to church or going back to temple or doing whatever and accepting God into your life on whatever terms you see feasible to do. That's, I mean, it's so interesting that you both just made this little bomb go off in my freaking head.
Yay!
I might have learned something today.
Well, we all
need a nap.
Something. I know. Well, you know, so here's what Nikoletta was talking about, that inspiration, that feeling, that what we have right here. Like every time I walk into that office, I have that with Nikoletta and Beth too.
100% of the time.
And it's happening right here. It's all this, I mean, I love when you come on our shows. I love when I call you, if you have, you know, you have to talk about something with me, and I just love it. It brightens my day. And I'm not just saying that, you know, I've known you so long that I could call you a pain in the ass. You can call me a pain in the ass, but you're
never
not.
Call Nikoletta
you're not. I know. But,
I can be a pain in the ass.
You have a following that protects you from being called anything.
That's right. So I want to get into that. All right. So I broke out Nikoletta's phone book, and it's like this thick of everybody she sponsors.
Oh yeah. She's actually under direct supervision that she's not allowed to take on any new sponsees.
I have been blocked from this.
And in fact, the only reason I've been getting new sponsees is because they called Nikoletta to sponsor her, and she's like, I'm not allowed to take on any new sponsees. But here's Beth.
Here's Beth dumping on her.
Just leave it. We're really sorry.
Pretty much. True story.
Yeah, true story, actually.
Right. So
not about the second fiddle, but then she gets all the women that ask me.
Exactly. So, you know, you're giving back all the time, and you know, and not joking around. And sometimes we do have to stop. We have to have somebody say, "Hey, this enough. Take care of you. You've done this whole thing back here. Let's do something for you now." You know, and how did that feel because of who you are and what you do in life? How did that feel to somebody say that?
How did it feel to what? To stop? To not take on
that?
New ones?
Well,
it didn't feel like a shortage because I cried.
She cried
because I think that, listen, I have lessons. I have my blind spots, and I have my sticky points, and I have my, you know, conditioning that I lean towards, and ways that I want to present myself, and all of that. And so, like, Yeah, I cried, but at the same time, I don't feel like there was any loss of like service.
Okay. Yeah.
Even though I said no to a few women.
That's okay.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I want to also bring up this point. Listen to what you just said and think about your first day sober. Think about your last day high. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Think about that.
I do. Okay, I do.
What I'm saying is that, would you ever think that somebody would say to you, don't take any more sponsees, right?
No. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, no,
I mean, come on. How blessed is that?
The life I live, none of it was seen by me. None of it was planned by me. None of it was envisioned by me. Zero. I didn't think I could have the friendships, the kind that I have with that. I didn't think it was possible to feel like that in somebody's presence. I didn't feel it was possible to have deep connection. I didn't think it was possible to want to experience and live life despite its challenges. I think that's courage. Courage is, and the freedom is that there's going to be heartbreak and I have it. There's going to be loss and I have it. There's going to be grief and I have it. Financial insecurity, all of this stuff. And yet you somehow see that that's the aliveness of life. Like bring it on, right? The freedom is like more inclusive rather than exclusive. I no longer need to be shielded, or I don't need to have a conditional life. If things are going my way, then life is great. And if things are not going my way, then life is not great. There are no more conditions. There's no more transactions with God, right? It's like, oh, this is life. And the more I live in acceptance of like, have no idea what this day is going to be like. Have no idea what's going to come my way. But I know of incredible beauty, just like I know of incredible pain. And that's life I have lived. I'm living.
I love that. Incredible beauty and incredible pain. They go hand in hand. You can't have incredible beauty without incredible pain, because once you get through that pain, the beauty comes. And that's the lesson. That's exactly what you're talking about. You learn from all those. See, a lot of people are pissed off about the lesson that they learned. Why did this happen to me? That blah, blah, blah. You don't look at it like that. Okay, I'm going to grow through this, and this is going to be the beauty of what happened.
Right. But I can't say that I've grown through it without the 12 steps and without continued work on myself and recognizing that I can question my mind and the stories in my head, and that I don't need to live my life based on the interpretation of my mind. There's something very like primal about meeting life in the present moment, like here and now, like this is all that's happening. I'm on a podcast with Ed and Beth. Like right now, this is all that's happening. Do you know what I mean? I've lived a lot of my life in my head, not really present here to what's happening.
A lot of us do that. And I think it's the
recovery
alcohol
teaches us this.
It's literally the quintessential alcoholic move, which is to be literally right here in this moment with you, but I'm out here in the future, I'm in the past, not being brave enough to experience what's actually happening.
Living in chaos. That's what we do.
We live in chaos, but chaos never exists in the present moment.
It does not.
It's like dude, this is like the best podcast. I've learned so much in the last 30 minutes. So it's like, if you're feeling chaos, you're not right here, right now.
Yeah.
If you want to get out of the chaos, be here. And I think that one of the biggest difficulties in that is that sometimes right here, right now is incredibly painful. But as we deepen our ability to be in the present pain, it also improves our ability to be in the present joy.
Yes.
Like, how many times do we feel unworthy of joy? So again, we're not in the present moment because we want to push ourselves. Like, it's insane. The alcoholic mind is always going to be an alcoholic mind. And there are so many people in my life. So I've been sober a long time. So many people in my life want to talk me out of the fact that I may or may not still have an alcoholic brain, because they perceive me as being super normal. I can't even imagine that. But there are
I'm gonna
people
watch
in
this
my life,
show.
these fucking weirdos. So there's these people, they're normies in my life that assume that I'm normal. And all of this conversation is bringing me back to my instinct of I will always have an alcoholic brain. And when I am not connected with God, I can't withstand the present moment.
Yeah.
I'd like to
punish myself.
I'd like to kind of go off on that and just think about the beauty when we grow through all these things, right? So let's look at I don't know, let's look at a seed when we put it in the ground, right? This little seed, and we put this much dirt on it, right? That's like putting a building on top of a human being. This little seed grows under there, pushes up through everything, pushes up, and becomes a gorgeous flower. But that little bit here that it took to get through all that, to be this gorgeous flower, that was a struggle. How many times did that flower say, fuck it, I'm not doing this? You want me to push up? How much further do I got to go? Did that motherfucker put me too deep? Right? You know, like all this shit, if I was a seed, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? Did he put me 3 feet or did he put me a foot and a half? And I'm like, where is it? You know? But the beauty of it, if we keep pushing, we become that gorgeous flower that pushes through everything.
I don't know if a seed is talking like that, but yeah. But I think only the human alcoholic brain or mind talks like that.
That's right. Exactly.
Even the seed lives in acceptance more than we do.
That is true.
100%. How fucked up is that?
A seed.
You know, like the trees, when the trees lose their leaves, when the seasons change, they're not like, oh my God, they just let them go. Where's my leaves? You know, they just go with the flow. You know, we don't trust life.
Freaking the fuck out.
I don't trust life.
Trust life.
And I think that the experiences of life forced me to have this wisdom, this teaching that I need to trust life. And I think that that's what's been my recovery. I mean, that's why it's my spiritual path, right? Alcoholism just happened to be my spiritual path to get me to to be more honest. And the honesty and the wisdom is that the truth is that here, I don't trust life, but this trusts life. And if I operate from here, I'll have a lot of courage to meet whatever. But if I operate from here, and I do sometimes, I'm scared and I'm insecure and I'm alone and I don't want to live and I don't want to show up and I don't want to leave my apartment and I'm manipulative and I'm managing things and I'm trying to control and I'm freaking out.
That's the alcoholic mind.
Yeah.
Exactly. We are always going to have an alcoholic mind. And when we act out of character of the alcoholic mind is when we are in grace. Right. So and I talk about this a lot in different terms. I usually say my nature, right? When people ask me questions, like, especially about how I feel about things, I say, like, they ask, like, are you fear-based or are you love-based? And I'm like, my nature is fear-based, but my nature, right, or my nurture is God, and I am faith-based. So it's like, I will always be coming from a baseline, right? We go back to that baseline of I'm not worthy of life.
That's a great point, because that brings up what Nikoletta was saying. If we trust life, we get faith.
Yeah.
If we live in fear, we get fear. If we live in doubt, we get fear, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're the seed in the ground that keeps digging deeper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, going
I'll get
the wrong
myself
way.
Out, and I wind up digging another 1.5 feet in the ground.
Going the wrong way. Yeah, exactly. Nikoletta, we have a couple minutes left here, but
okay.
I know, I know you're big. And you can shut it down if you want, but I know you're big in the speaking part of AA.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I have to kind of disagree with you on that one. But I mean, I'm fascinated about that. I'm like, when you say I wish, it's like I can't, you know what I mean? But you did it. You said, yeah, I'm going to, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to give back. It's amazing all the ways you give back. Bambi called you. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Tell me when. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give back. I'm going to give back. And just speak a little bit about like how you got into the speaking and like, you know, like what is it like and how can people do that, you know? But she just doesn't, guys, she just doesn't speak like in Dover and Morris County area. She's like
she's
a
in
circuit
Scotland,
speaker.
she's in Iceland.
Yeah. I mean,
spoke
she's
in Russia
big
the other
time, guys.
day.
I know.
She doesn't even speak Russian.
You know, I don't know how it happens, but here's what I've concluded. I'm petrified of public speaking, and if it's up to me, I wouldn't do it. But I moved to give away, and I recognize that I need to live a life of invitation. And when it comes my way, especially because I'm afraid, I know the only way that I walk through the fear is by walking through the fear.
Yeah.
And so I show up despite myself. I understand it's not about me. I understand I've had some experience in recovery in my personal life and in the life of, like, I sit in a sober house office for 16 years. I haven't heard an original thought in 10. You know, like I see alcoholism and drug addiction. I don't see people anymore, right? I see the patterns. I've buried hundreds of people. I've seen hundreds of people recover, you know, like, so for whatever reason it comes my way, they find me. And they hear me and they ask me to speak again and again and again. And I do my best to speak, to show up and speak.
Yeah, it's just amazing. One thing you said, if it was up to me, I wouldn't do it. Well, it's not up to you, obviously, right? Seriously, it's not up to you. That's surrender. That's surrender. That's you know, just
I'm practicing trusting life.
That's it. There you go. You know, this has been a good show, ladies. And, you know, I've learned, good Lord, I've learned a lot. And, you know, Nikoletta, you're just full of such wisdom and insight and just, you know, kind of that kind of, you know, that attraction of recovery, promotion rather than retraction, you know, attraction and you know, attraction rather than promotion.
Yep.
But that's what you bring, you know, even when you walk into the room, you know, there's something different about this woman. You really do when you walk into the room with her. And I can imagine when you get up on a stage or in front of a whole bunch of people on Zoom, what that comes out like once you start speaking. You know, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud to call you my friend.
100%.
And I'm glad we have you on this side of recovery and not that side of recovery. If you're doing shit on this side of recovery, I don't know what the hell you'll be doing on that side. All right.
Oh, it was wild.
Absolutely. You know, Nikoletta, you're always welcome back here. You know, we appreciate everything. Great. You know, we'll put some information about the Milestone House in the notes. Bambi will put all that up, and you know, we'll just keep doing what we do here. And I'd like to thank everybody at Facebook Live for coming on. Again, Bambi, you're in our hearts. And you know, we're thinking about you. Bambi. Yeah, we love you, and we're excited to get you back when you come back. And we don't 100%. Know when, but that's okay. You know, we'll be here for you. And thank our guest, Nikoletta, and stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.